All right, I think this is how we do it. We ready? All right.
Yeah.
Get going.
We are Brightside. Dear.
Hey, Home Theater Nerds, welcome to Bright Side, a Home Theater Podcast. A Home Theater Podcast is all about the experiences. Sights!
The sounds.
The scenes.
Leave it to Steve to slow things down.
There's Steve coming in last.
I'm in that kind of mood. Sorry, guys.
John and I are cooking here, and Steve's like,
I was just trying to match your energy.
Yeah.
and you did. Look at you. Look at you. Right
Yeah.
back to the rhythm, John, you and I.
That's
You
it.
got this other old fogey over here from across
Oh,
the
man.
pond. Can't keep
telling
up
you.
with us youngins.
Us young kids.
Agitating.
Agitating, exactly.
Oh man. Let's just, guys. I just got to bring this up. I know we just spoke about it, but this is great. So John just said, waiting with DJ and Steve was like waiting for Prince and Madonna, not saying who is which. LOL.
Yeah.
So John, who are you then? If we've got Prince and Madonna, who are
Yeah,
you?
I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who else is perpetually late?
Are you Sonny or Cher? Which one?
Well,
You
it
could
would
choose.
be. I think Axl Rose was known for that too. They
Oh, was
literally
he?
didn't show up.
Yeah.
You'd be waiting hours, and they go, "Yeah, we're canceling." Stadium full of people. All right, let's go home. That's Axl being Axl.
Yeah, oh yeah. Talking of Guns N'
Oh.
Roses, we saw them at Glastonbury last year. We
Yeah.
saw Guns N' Roses. Yeah, they were
Oh
quite
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Lead singer Kathleen Turner.
Yeah, whoever was there. There was, but that's what reminded me of it, because there was talk there that he might not show.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, really?
obviously I know the organisers, and they had said then that they were relatively confident he'd turn up because he was in the country. That's as far as they could go, until the night of the show, and they're like,
Right.
yeah, he has turned up. So all right, good news. But they
Awesome.
weren't sure.
And it's not that big of a country, so they can at least narrow it down. Like he's
Right.
he's within an hour and a half by helicopter. We're good.
He was, 150,000 people turn up, and he's just like, well, I'll get there if I can.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Oh,
Oh, man.
Let me shut that down. I was wondering where I
So
was
how we
getting
doing,
some back
fellas?
noise.
How are we doing?
Yeah, good.
It's been a week.
Yeah.
It's another week. Another week gone by.
Yeah, man. Well, look, forgive me, guys, if during this I have, as I'm saying to you earlier, I've had about an hour's sleep, if
Yeah.
maybe two. It's been ridiculously busy over this weekend at the police stations, and I've dealt with 12 clients over the weekend and a further 6 today. So I am running on empty. So if you hear snoring at any point, I've already given John permission to hit the zapper button, and that'll that'll wake me
Nice.
up in the seat.
I got it, but you'll be doing all the talking, so I don't know how you'll be doing this.
Well, yeah, if I lose the energy, whack.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Although one
Lots
of the
going
clients today did have a taser pen. You ever heard of those guys? I've never heard of
No.
them.
No, but
It is literally a pen shaped. You looking at it, you think, oh, he's got a-
Amazon.com taser.
yeah, would have a
pen.
Bic biro, whatever in his hand, but it was a taser. And one of the officers tried it out. They were like, let's just see what this does. Let us see what this does. and the zap could be heard across the police station, right across the other side.
wow.
Don't tase me, bro.
Proper lethal, lethal thing. So yeah, man. Anyway, so
Yeah.
that might be quite useful for me. I've borrowed it, so if I do start to slide, I'll just zap myself.
There you go. Yeah.
He's alive.
I've never been tased. I've been electrocuted. I've never been tased.
Deliberately or by mistake?
I've been mildly electrocuted myself, but never.
Yeah. Yeah. Dares deliberately.
Oh, this was by accident. It completely took me by surprise.
Yeah. The first time I was helping my dad, and that was an accident, and he laughed. Like when you jump back and like, and he's like, that was great. Dumb.
A friend of mine who likes to think of himself as a bit of a keen DIYer, who's got all the gear and no idea, and he
welcome to the show.
Well, yeah, and he was changing a plug. Sorry, I've got to think, a socket, in socket, and he was changing it using a screwdriver, and he touched the two ends of the circuit together with this metal screwdriver. There was a bang. He jumped halfway across the room. Was like, I can't feel my fingers.
Yeah.
Just like I just said to him, you're lucky there's a fuse in that plug. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah. Oh, my dad, one time we were fixing an outlet and yeah, exactly. Lion Mage in the chat. That's just shocking, guys. He took a lighter to the end of the screwdriver and he was going to lay on the floor for when my mother came home. With the outlet exposed.
Yeah.
He goes, he thought better of it. He's like, no, that wouldn't be a good idea.
Especially if before she crosses the room. Yeah, before she crosses the room, she's on the phone to the insurance company. Is that life insurance policy up together? Brilliant.
You're expecting her to be upset and she calls for a party. Yay! Whoops.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh, anyhow, but yeah, so there we go. So try and stay awake. That's my plan.
Yeah.
We'll see how we go.
Yeah. Same here.
Oh.
Yeah, I got yeah. Anyways, so
but luckily, lots of good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we do. We got a lot of stuff. Let's get to the what do you got for the chat? And I who opened it today?
It's rocking. Yeah, you
and
were
it's
jumping
not
in.
there.
I saw Deej.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. Yeah,
is it gone?
It's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I got deleted from my own chat. Would you look at that?
Yeah. Deleted from the chat. Look at that. Okay, so all right, so we've got a few people back in. Rach's dropped in from Twitter actually, or X. There's a comment from X. Captain's in, of course. Richard's in, Mikey's in, Vibe Home Media's in, TSG's in, the local boy. Van Gool is in. Well, I say local to me. I said Van Gool, didn't I? Mike writes in. Hi, Mike. We've got absolutely the world just jumped in as well. So
a whole bunch.
I mean, Richard,
scrolling down.
Captain AC3. He was coming in hot with the quotes earlier. Highlander.
Good old Captain. Well, Captain Scruffy's in as well. Hi, Scruffy. Nathan Reed's in. Dom's in, of course, as well. And I mean, John Thompson again, who's likening us to various, famous singers. I
think they're more like us, but okay.
Well, yeah, we like to, who's to say? Ariel Alanis is in. Lion Mage is in. We know. Johnny Speaker's just dropped in. Yeah, loads. It's rocking. Yes. Oh, and Steve Att has just dropped into the chat.
He's down the Cape. He's a little closer to me. He's down the Cape. He's not far.
As he Cape Cod, Cape Fear, Cape Canaveral,
Cape Cod. He said vacation tide out on Cape Cod. We'll sit until call comes for dinner. Yeah, there we go.
Nice. That's Jaws country, isn't it? Amity, that out that way.
Yeah, that's Martha's Vineyard.
That's in that same area.
Filmed on Martha's Vineyard. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you've been there, John, right? You've done the tour and you go over the bridge.
I haven't. I've been to the Cape many times. I've never been to Martha's Vineyard, though.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, from is that 1 mile from? Is that Hyannis Port? Is that what that is? Hyannis Port.
Hyannis. Well, it's an island, so it's you can. I mean, you can see Martha's Vineyard from. It's actually closer to Falmouth. It's like when you're on Falmouth Beach. My mouth is all messed up today. When you're on like a Falmouth beach, you can see right across. Like you're a decent swimmer, you can swim over. It's not.
No, you don't want to do that. There's big great white sharks in the water, so I'm told.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, on at least 2 occasions.
And actually, really, when we get sharks up here, they're more out on the edge of the, like towards the arm on the outside part. They don't really come in that I know of. I don't remember seeing them out in that area in the news.
They've got a particularly unusual breed of shark in that area. They're really unusual. They've got like paint on eyes. They're like Sharpies. Yeah, really
exactly. The Sharpies. Yeah. And then well, you don't have to worry about. Yeah, you don't have to worry about being attacked because they have mechanical issues. Delays it a while.
Well, they can't see you. They've just got drawn on eyes.
Yeah. Drawn on eyes. Yeah, we're getting a bunch of these comments here. We got Scruffy talking about Takeover Tuesday. Mikey Schramm saying, I understand DJ's crazy, but I miss Takeover Tuesdays. Yeah, I do. I get to everybody, all the chat, all the emails I've gotten, comments. Yeah, I miss them too. But it's just a matter of scheduling them and then getting back to it. If it was, I mean, I love sitting down to talk, and it's actually better for me, but then just the logistics of it all, and it's tough right now. So sorry about that. But yeah, I know we need Takeover Tuesday. I miss Takeover Tuesday as well. We need Takeover Tuesday. It's like, I mean, I know. I know. But and I don't mean, and that's probably coming out bad. Like, I know, like, stop talking. I appreciate all the comments. Keep coming, keep telling me, because I appreciate it. And it just, makes you realize, how much this is enjoyed. But trust me, I feel it too. All right. What else we got? John, how's everything going? We really didn't get to talk to you much last week. We had a few other people popping in here and there, and your big debut.
My big debut. Yeah, all right. I mean, not to bring things down, just still looking for work. So that's my life right now. Spending most of my time. So
donate to Patreon, Brightside Home Theater.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to cancel my $10 pretty soon. Can't afford
it. We can cut a salary for John.
Hey man, life's good. But like to find a job. So,
yeah.
But other than that, I can't complain. Yeah.
Good. How's the new granddaughter?
Oh, awesome. Okay? Yeah, she was here Sunday. So getting to spend some time with her. She's getting big. She just hit 5 months already. So
yeah, is that 5 months?
I know. It's just like that.
Yeah.
So it's been 5 months since that T-shirt,
and I haven't worn it since. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I haven't worn it since.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. God, time does fly, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
She'll be trying to hit you up for driving lessons before you know it.
I was going to say, I'll look up and she'll be, 7. And yeah. I mean, of course, she's just the latest grandbaby. Like, we just had the birthday party for one the other day. He's 13 already. And same thing. It's like, where the hell did 13 years go? And he's not, and he's not the oldest. There's, he's kind of in the middle. So yeah.
Yeah, man.
Makes you feel old.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's it. Look, hey, this is the way it is. Never mind. Mike Wright says, John adds balance. If I buy a movie, Steve's accent makes me want to open my wallet fast when he says really good. LOL.
Yeah.
So there you go, John. So you're providing balance and
I'm bringing balance. Yeah. I am the chosen one.
To the Force. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're bringing balance.
I mean, after the Acolyte, there's 2. Aren't there? At least, or maybe 3.
This is chosen 2.
So. By the way, did we talk about the Acolyte being cancelled, essentially? That being the end of that? What do we think of that, guys? Just what we think about the chosen 1 or 2 or 3?
Well, since I put up I put up a poll the other day trying to get people to save it. So I guess that will let you know how I feel about it. But
yeah, because we never heard your comments, of course, on that, John. Not obviously on the show. So what did you think?
I mean, was it the best Star Wars I ever saw? No, no. But I mean, I enjoyed it. Actually, I did like it. I thought, we're finally moving away from the Skywalker saga and trying to break some new ground. And I thought it was interesting, and I was interested to see where season 2 would go. And again. I understand some people didn't like it. That's fine. If you didn't like it because you watched it and you didn't like it, fair play. You know what I mean? But if you didn't like it because you had a preconceived idea about what it was going to be and decided you weren't going to like it and tried to get everybody else not to like it, shame on you,
Right.
I mean, that's That's kind of how I feel.
And that seems to be the tale of the tape, doesn't it? That seems to be what it is. It was a vocal minority who just took against it because of non-story based reasons, who just decided that, this wasn't for them, and then managed to get that perception out there very quickly. Because I don't think it had any controversial content. It just seemed to be people just being idiots.
How many people was that minority? Because the petition to save it is up around 60,000 signatures at this point. So I think that's probably more people than the ones that were crying and review bombing it on Rotten Tomatoes or what have you. So now again, some of that can't be quantified because how many people didn't watch it because of the review bombing and didn't leave a comment, so I mean, I know 2 people in my family that refused to watch it because of the reviews. And I told both of them, you're wrong. You need to go check it out. But that's just 2 people that I knew.
Well, quite. It was whatever. I mean, we were backwards and forwards on it, weren't we, Deej? And when we talked about it, and we, there were the first couple of episodes I thought were really good. I did like the kung fu aesthetic. I liked how they were House of Flying Daggers. This stuff, I really liked that. And I think it did waver a little bit towards the end. I didn't really understand the mystery. And didn't really care that I didn't understand the mystery, if that makes sense. I didn't really put in the effort to understand it. But but there were definitely some really good bits, especially the last episode with the lightsaber fights and all that stuff. Which
I mean, there was great choreography, great lightsaber battles. Unfortunately, most of the characters I identified with wouldn't have made it to season 2. So there is that. But
I like the world building. The future,
exactly.
You know what I mean? The world building of where, like, you can, when you're doing a prequel type series like that, that's 100 years in the past from what we already know, they can manipulate things like Steve and I talked about. I felt like just listening to you guys right now, I felt like this was back when you were on the show, John, but we did have these conversations through text and stuff that it was like, imagine the next episode, next series takes place 50 years after this, where it's in the middle, and you see how, and they can manipulate it however they want. Well, and I think that's the part that the negative people were missing is that you're just putting a piece in, and now how can we have fun with this and get us back to where, episode 1 was. And
I think if we were ever going to get any like Knights of the Old Republic content or anything along those lines, it was based on the success of this show. And I feel like now, unfortunately, we are doomed to live in the Skywalker timeline forever. And don't get me wrong. I mean, that's what brought us all to Star Wars. But there's a big wide galaxy out there, and there's a lot to happen. And
from a long time ago.
Yeah, and not to shift gears too much, but just because it's topical right now. Same thing happened with Rings of Power and season 1 and now season 2 getting ready to come out. I mean, that thing suffered just the same fate because the Tolkien stans decided they didn't like it, and that's that. And like I mentioned off air, we started rewatching season 1 to get ready for season 2, and while again, there's some, I have a few issues with some things, but overall I like it. And I'm excited for the new season. So I don't know. All of this, I could go on a real tangent here. So I don't know how much you want to hear about it.
Yeah.
But again, we got
John's back.
we got an announcement this week, right? That we're going to get a season 4 of Ted Lasso. Right.
We are?
Yes.
But possibly without Ted.
Possibly without Ted, but the thing is, so if you go to any social media, there's a loud contingent of people who don't want season 4. Season 3 ended perfectly. All the bows were tied up neatly and this and that. Like, my guy, you do know that you're free to not engage with it if you don't want to. Like, if you don't want season 4, you can just not watch it, pretend like it never existed, and you still have your perfect ending and you still have all your neat little bows, right? But for those of us that want to see where the story goes, let us have it, and it could be completely without Ted. It could be look, sporting teams change coaches all the time, right? So how does this team now acclimate to a new coach, a new staff? Maybe we follow Rebecca and Kylie in their women's football. Like, there's a million ways that story could go.
But you can't call it Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. That's what I was just going to say. But the show is called Ted Lasso.
Yeah, you can call it Grey's Anatomy, and there's no Greys left on it. They've been gone for a long time, right? So,
I didn't know that was named.
So let's
after
rebrand it season 4 from the world of Ted Lasso. Here we go. You know what I mean? But
I can see it now. Yes, Kylie, the Ted Lasso saga.
Exactly.
I can see it. We'll go the Furiosa route.
But again, like, when did we all become so arrogant that we think that every single piece of media that's created has to be tailored to us? Right. Like, there's a big wide world out there, and let people have what they want. I'm going to jump off my soapbox now, and
I like that.
Actually, John, I'd just say, straight back into the swing of it, John. I like it. But you can answer a question that I had, and DJ answered it as well when we talked about the last episode of Acolyte.
I'll try to see if I can remember it.
I'm not going to spoil it. I'll try not to spoil it.
All right.
The color change, sort of because of the boss. I've never seen that before. I've never read about it, but I've never read any of the expanded universe. Is Deej was saying, and again, I'm not talking like you're not here, Deej, but Deej was saying that it's like that there is some previous mention of that somewhere. Do you know that? Is that in the comics?
Yeah,
expanded universe.
I've never
heard of that.
Clone Wars, things like that. They talk about, I don't know how to say this without spoiling it too much, but they talk about crystals being corrupted. And so that's what's happening there. I'll leave it at that so as not to spoil it too much. But that is canon. That is built into Star Wars lore. So.
Okay, that is actually quite cool then. Yeah, I like the way you say that. Yeah, crystals being corrupted. Nice. All right, that makes more sense. Because as I saw it, I just thought, well, is that just supposed to look cool? Is this just a really on the nose, serious visual metaphor for?
No, it's literally it's the turn to. It's the turn. So
Isn't that those crystals? Weren't they like a underlying thing in Rogue One?
Yeah, kyber crystals.
Yes, that's the planet that they were on is where they were mining them. Yes.
Yeah.
And at Galaxy's Edge, you can buy them.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah, I know.
And choose the color you want.
Amount of money. Right.
When I was there, when I was at Galaxy's Edge with, I think it was one of the Star Wars in Disney, and my son and I are standing there, and there was like a couple of guys behind us, like I don't know, late 20s, early 30s, and they were having like legit conversation on like like they were gonna go home and make one, and it was like the hilt, that this, that, and all that, and we're just it's going on, and every now and then you just have to turn around and look and be like, yeah, they're real. These are real people, and they get so dead serious about picking out the one that they wanted, and it's like, and the science behind it all, and what makes it. I mean, it was scary. It was scary, like how into it they were, and it was like, are the cameras around? Is somebody filming this? Because this isn't real, right?
Punked.
Yeah, I was like, these people think this is. They think they're gonna go home and cut a hole in their wall. What are they doing? It's like, it's so much easier than a saw. I'm telling you, it takes a little finagling to build one, but man, you like a hot knife through butter.
Right.
Do it.
Mind you, we can't tell John this. He's already got one behind him. I can see it on the wall.
He's got more than one.
I've got one in each corner.
Yeah, exactly.
I almost pulled my headphones out.
Sorry.
I was tied down.
Yeah, John came back and then hung himself halfway through the show when Steve mentioned the lightsaber.
John will not be joining us any longer.
Right.
So Lion Mage says, I didn't watch the Acolyte because of the reviews, and I saw some clips and thought I'll skip. Lion Mage, I'd give it a go. Go and watch one of them. They're not really long. It's you might be pleasantly.
I think it's only 6. Wasn't it only 6? How many? Was it 8? Was it 8?
7 or 8?
Maybe it was 8. I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think I do think it's a shame. I do that it's cancelled like that, and it does seem. And even if this is wrong, it might have been cancelled for all we know because of the money. It might have been an expensive show.
It is.
Might be that there's a thing, and so, but the perception that has got out there, and you'd think that Disney would have done something about this,
Right.
is the perception is it's cancelled because of the vocal minority.
Right.
That's the perception, and here we are talking about it. And so you'd have thought Disney would have tried to negate that somewhat on the basis of we're not going to bow to pressure from you vocal idiots who will take it against it for nothing to do with story reasons, but because of representation. Fine, then we're not kowtowing to you. You can do one in not so many words. You'd have thought Disney would have counteracted that, but they don't seem to have.
They haven't, and I also think there's ways to make that show cheaper, right? Like I think that you could. You could do a season 2 and not spend all the money, I mean, I think there's ways to do that, but
no,
then we'd be upset they didn't spend enough money.
We'll see. Again, we'll see. Shows have been brought back from cancellation before, if enough people ask for it, who knows?
I mean, are there going to be monsters in your Monster Universe show?
Right.
I remember hearing that quote.
They've greenlit that, which was which was deeply average, and yet now, but Acolyte goes the way of the dodo.
In your opinion,
deeply other average. Opinions are available, but
but don't listen to those.
Right. Well, obviously. Was it
buried at the bottom?
Right here, Steve.
Is it Dust Till Dawn? Was the when I want your opinion, I'll give it to you?
Right.
Yeah.
Again, all I would say, some of the comments here, not to dwell on the Acolyte again so much more, but talking about some of the dialogue being cringy and things like that. Like, have you watched A New Hope? Really? It's like, look, we all love Star Wars, right? Like I was 7 when Star Wars.
I love it.
Yeah. I was 7 when Star Wars came out. It will forever be ingrained in my DNA. But like, these are not great. They're not Lawrence. It's not Lawrence of Arabia or Citizen Kane. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, they've never been like just Oscar-worthy movie. Well, I mean, again, I guess they are, but
Mark Hamill has made quite the career out of being a whiner.
But
I don't want to go.
But they're not. I wonder, because I look now and like if Star Wars started today and this is the day we got A New Hope, would it be a successful franchise? Like, honestly, would it be a successful franchise if it came out today?
Right.
I don't think it would.
No.
And so I guess that's.
But it's also it's of its time, though. It was ahead of its time. If it
was ahead
came
of
out
its
now,
time.
it'd be way behind the time.
Well, but I mean, again, do it today with modern technology. Let's assume it was a new, modern, big budget, $200 million movie, but it had the same dialogue and the same actors. Would it be a hit today? And I don't know if it would.
And yet, one of the reasons that for me, and I think you're right, John, but it's of its time, isn't it? Look, if they brought out a movie about a giant rubber shark with sharpy eyes to go back a bit, that wouldn't be successful. And everybody would be like, oh, that's ridiculous. It's so
But again, if it's the same movie, but with today's technology, and it's not a giant rubber shark, it's whatever they use today, but you have the same actors and you have the same story, is it, will it be as beloved as it was then?
Oh yeah.
And yet I think, although talking about A New Hope in particular, one of the reasons it's my favorite one is I think it actually has some deftness to its dialogue. I mean, I absolutely love that the Obi-Wan talking to, spoiler alert, everyone.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan talking.
Just put that out there.
I mean, I don't want to get
Patrick Stewart in it, Steve?
Shh, let's not go there.
He was a Jawa.
Yeah.
I think he was more Lobot, wasn't he? I think he came along in Empire.
Lobot.
But the dialogue where Obi-Wan talks about Anakin in the little hut where he talks about, he was when I first met him, I was amazed at how strong the Force was with him. And this thing about he was a cunning warrior and a good friend.
Right.
And the way that Guinness delivers that line is beautiful. I love that's it. And again, the thing about the Force as well, it surrounds us and binds us and all living things. The way that's delivered is really well done. And then when you couple that with Luke looking at the twin suns and the music sort of swirling, I mean, I think that stuff's worthy of Lawrence of Arabia. And in fact, some I think believe that shot with the sun coming up is directly homaging Lawrence of Arabia.
Right.
So I think A New Hope, I get you, absolutely. I mean, there's some of the dialogue is hokey as anything. And again, Harrison Ford, didn't he say, George, you can write this stuff, but you can't say it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think there is some deftness of touch. There's some lightness of touch, and more to do with the actors, I think, than the dialogue.
Well, again, because who's delivering those lines? Like he is Sir Alec Guinness, right? Like
exactly.
He's an he's
who, by the way, didn't want to do the movie.
Right. He was the only actor in the movie at the time. Well, and Harrison
Ford.
Well, he was nobody at the time. He did American
Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing was the
right. Like also was well established, but they were all unknowns and all relative newcomers. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I think so. I think A New Hope kind of gets a bad rap for some of its dialogue, but some of it is really well done. But yeah, I agree with you though. I agree. It's of its time.
But exactly. And even that dialogue is of its time because you wouldn't like Lucas didn't push Mark Hamill to be even, to deliver those lines in a different way because nobody was. It was, even like, yes, they were better actors of the time, but still it's like, if you watch movies from that time period, you're like, none of these movies could get made today. Right. So if you try to take one piece of that and move it to today, of course it doesn't work, but it's the overall story too. And that's why we're here today. I mean, if that doesn't happen, does home theater even happen? Does all of this get pushed?
Look around me. Like, obviously, I'm not knocking Star Wars. Don't get me wrong.
But it's like, I mean, people talking about in the chat all about the Takeover Tuesdays and all that. And if you've been a long-time listener, you listen to all the Takeover Tuesdays, 95% of the people got their start in home theater because of Star Wars.
Right.
And because of Star Wars, it was not only did Lucas invent Star Wars, but then he pushed the technology that was going to give it. Right. And oh, by the way, that story was delivered to us in a way because the technology wasn't available and how all of these things happen. And then as we're learning this stuff growing up, we're learning like, oh, they couldn't make this because he wanted to make this movie, which we got 20 years later, which was the Clone Wars movie. And you're like, he couldn't do that because he knew how grand it was going to be and he didn't even want to try. So did his ideas spawn the technology? Did this happen? But not only that, we came in the middle, didn't know it was like Luke's father was.
Right.
If they tell that in order, it's a completely boring story. Like, okay, that's his father. Those are twins. It's like, if you watch that in sequential order, it's not a shocker in Empire Strikes Back. Luke, how many fathers? Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, we saw that 2 movies ago.
Oh, you don't get that kiss in the med bay either, but
you do, but it's cringeworthy. You're like, what the hell? Somebody tell him. So, anyways, John comes back. We go right deep into Star Wars.
Man, it's cool. It's cool. It's good to kind of to revisit some of this stuff, and I know we will in the days and weeks ahead in terms of stuff that's come out whilst you were on your sabbatical, on your walkabout. And
you went to Australia?
I did.
I'm trying to get there.
I have a didgeridoo on the wall over there.
That's John and I've been trying to get.
We can only see you from the waist up.
Oh man, it's still a dream.
I know.
I would love to go to Australia.
I
don't know if I would, guys. After having flown across the Atlantic once or twice, though, I don't think I want to fly to Australia.
Are you gonna swim?
Well, I don't know, but it's like 97 hours by plane, I think, is what.
Yeah, that's why if I go to Australia, I'm not coming back.
Exactly, it's a one-way ticket, man.
Yeah.
It's come on, guys. Look, present company. Forget Australia. Just go that little bit further to New Zealand.
Exactly.
Come on, go to a proper country.
Well, anywhere but here. How about that?
Oh man, but no, New Zealand's great. I'm going to tub thump for New Zealand all day long. Come on.
Yeah, you got to.
Thump. What does that mean?
Tub thump. To big up. Yeah, to fly the flag. Yes. talk enthusiastically about.
Yeah.
Promote.
You can have that.
They make a whole single word for it, Steve. It's called promote.
I was going to say, I don't think you're making us understand anymore with all these other phrases.
Hey, look, as a lawyer,
I'm more confused than I was. I get paid by the word, so
or by the hour.
Steve's filibustering.
Yeah.
Here we go. God. Oh, do we want to talk any home theater experiences or anything?
No, go
this
on
week?
if we have
You
to.
know? As long as we're having fun.
Yeah, we did do Alien Romulus last week. You know, we did.
Wait a minute, Mike. Right, I just repurchased all Star Wars on Kscape. LOL. Like as we were talking, like Kaleidoscope.
Good on you. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
You should start getting a commission from Kaleidoscape.
I
did actually, didn't you? You heard that? I got $100.
I did. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Says, at least, Steve, if you go to New Zealand, visit Hobbiton. Rich, it's in a place called Waikato in New Zealand, which is the county in which I was born. So I was born a stone's throw from Hobbiton, and I don't have hairy feet. I swear.
Well, I did not know that.
At least not the days you shaved.
Waikato, yeah. Well, as far as I know, put the hair on my head.
Yeah,
no, Hobbiton is
feet hair on your head.
Oh, yeah, that's it. All done. But there we go. Yeah. So I mean, it is a long flight though. It's a long flight for wherever you are, pretty much. What is it? 15, 16 hours from you guys, and it's about.
I think it's
25, 26 from here.
Yeah.
Depending on the way you go. I mean, we're on the wrong side. So.
I think we would
go
go
out
from
across
here
Hawaii
to like California. Yeah, we go that way, and then you jump over. So,
because we're almost directly above it. So for us, it's about 21, 22 hours. Yeah, something like that. And then there's a stop in between. There's only one flight that flies nonstop, and that's a new kind of plane that I mean, even then, would you want to spend 21, 22, 23 hours in the air? Your arms will get tired.
Yeah.
Slapping away.
Yeah. Oh dear, Andrew, no, right. Sorry, guys, we need to correct this before we go any further. Don't Kiwis call Australia the mainland. Andrew, war's just been declared, okay? What the hell? The mainland. Goodness me. Right. Yeah. Them's fighting words.
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty. Captain says it's quicker coming back because it's downhill.
I can't. I've had.
He's born in Sydney.
Yeah. Well done, Andrew. So it's even less of an excuse.
Jeez.
I thought it said he was bombing Sydney. I was like, don't say that out loud.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to look again.
Yeah. So it's like flying a plane and listening to Brightside Home Theater. Boom.
Anyway.
Oh God. No, I've met people like that literally think like south is downhill. I was in a meeting once in a training seminar, and I was like, you don't need a compass. It was like you pick an item, and they're like, why not? I go, the sun comes up on the east and always and sets in the west. You know your directions. And the guy goes, always. Like, what?
Pretty much.
Well, I was like, are you kidding me? Like I thought that was common knowledge.
It like, changes depending on the day of the week.
Yeah. Awful. I was like, always like looked at me like I'm nuts. Oh no, on Thursdays it's what? Oh God. All right. Yeah, I gotta turn it off. All right, let's get to a movie and not stop ripping dumb people. All right. You want to start with this one, guys?
Spin the dial.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all three of us have got this one, and we've touched on it now 3 weeks in a row. Somebody's going to have to remind me how good or bad it was.
I was going to say, I haven't seen it for like a month now, so.
Exactly. So I think we've teased everybody enough. We're 40 minutes into the show. Yeah. Here we go. Take it away, Steve.
Okay, so I've already had sort of 2 bites at this cherry, because of course I reviewed the digital version, the Amazon Prime version, but that's okay because it's a great film. So this is the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. This time, when I saw it again, was the 4K disc. And when we talked about it a few weeks back, I had said I had ordered it. It arrived from the US. It's not available here on disc and doesn't look like it's getting a release anytime soon, and especially not in 4K. So this was now comparing directly the 4K disc to the Amazon Prime version. And this now is my third watch of the film. And the movie just is more fun every time I see it. I realized rather embarrassingly, by the way, that I talked about Alan Ritchson being a crazy Swede. He's a Dane he's supposed to be playing, but at some point in the film, he pretends to be Swedish. So I think I just got confused.
I didn't even know that till you just said it, but I would have thought all along he was, but yeah.
So anyway, but it's such a fun movie, and it gets more fun the more I see it. It just the lightness of touch with this, the kind of the humor with which it's done, coupled with the brutality of some of the stuff that happens, is still very, very fun. It's a caper movie in every way for me. And I really like it. It's one of my favorite movies of this year. And this is why I'm really glad that we do keep talking about it, because it will encourage more and more people to see it. And I think people should. So yeah, very, very fun. Now the disc is night and day over the stream as well. It really does look amazing from the opening scenes over the water. There's a boat as it sort of pans across the water, and it automatically looks more three-dimensional, more of a stable image than the stream that I had seen, which I was pretty pleased with. The audio is fantastic, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that in a minute. It's in Atmos on the disc, and it's great. And again, night and day, leaps and bounds over the stream. Very, very pleased with it. So if you are in the US, you're in the mood for a fun caper movie that's got a bit of violence as well. That's a kind of just about maybe qualifies as a true story, just about. Then if you're in the US, get the 4K disc all day long. If you're in the UK or you're in Europe, you got to think about whether you want to pay the premium to import it. But for me, I was very pleased that I did, and I would highly recommend it. So yeah, that's my view.
Yeah. It's John, what did you see? You saw the digital, right?
Well, so I watched Steve's digital code that he was nice enough to provide me from the disc that he bought. So I guess equivalent to streaming. So again, not having the disc to compare it to at this point, I still thought it was pretty solid. I mean, I thought it looked great, and I thought the audio was fantastic, even from the digital code. And yeah, I mean, I can't say anything that Steve didn't say as far as the movie itself. It's great. I mean, it's lots of fun. Just violent carnage a la Sisu and Glorious Bastards and other movies of kind of the same ilk. But it was great. I can't wait to get the disc and can't wait to watch it again.
What do we think of that, guys? That's an interesting question, John. I've never thought about that. What do we think about it, Steve, and those in the chat? Is a digital copy the same quality as the stream? Shouldn't it be better than the stream? Because by definition, the stream is coming across the internet, it's coming across a thing. Would the digital copy not be better because it's not being ripped down at the same time? What do we think?
I guess because it's still coming from a server, right? Because when you redeem these codes, they go to Movies Anywhere or Vudu or one of these services, web-based services. So you're still pulling from somebody's server to watch it. It's not stored on my Apple TV device.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. No. Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know. I didn't know if
I equate them to streaming. I've heard people say that they think they're better quality if you watch them through Vudu as opposed to like iTunes or things like that. I have no evidence to confirm that one way or the other. From my mobile devices, I run everything through Vudu, but they all just show up in my iTunes account on my Apple TV. That's where I watch them. So,
okay. And it's, there's a lot of that. Like Van Gool saying here in the chat, it's like, Van Gool saying, if you watch on Apple TV Plus, it looks better than Movies Anywhere on my new TV. People are going to have varying opinions on that. And it's just, typically get into the nitty gritty on that stuff. Meaning like I don't look at like,
Bit
bits,
rates.
download bits, bit rates and megabits per second and what it's coming in at, because a lot of that has to do with, and we've had many experts on here that tell you about stuff that's, and we've talked about it. Like you could be looking at a scene in a field, like say from Lord of the Rings, right? And they're just standing in a field, but nothing is moving on the field. And be like, it looks gorgeous, but it's got such low download, bits because nothing's moving. Everything's stagnant. So they don't have to give you any more information. But you watch a hockey game and everything's moving because the camera's moving, the background's moving, the people are moving, the puck's moving, all this is moving, and you've got a lot of information being transferred, which is better quality.
And I also think the hardware of the Apple TV device is better than what's built into most TVs.
Yep.
So that's going to play a part into it too. Because again, I could watch these through the Vudu app that's native on my Apple TV, and I don't know that would be better or worse than watching it through iTunes.
Right.
And obviously I haven't done the comparison, but
right.
I now think it would be.
Yeah, and that's a great example. There is like if you think of the logistics of Apple TV. If you're going to buy it through their iTunes account, they're going to streamline and make sure everything comes through perfectly. It's going to they're going to optimize the download for their piece of hardware so that it looks better, plays better, sounds better through there. What's movies anywhere? What's their hardware?
Right.
Nothing. They're completely dependent on everybody else. They're dependent on your smart TV. They're dependent on Apple TV. They're dependent on Fire Stick, all of that stuff. And all of those other people, like Apple TV could be like, we're not giving you the same bandwidth. So that, there's gamesmanship going on in the business alone. All that is variables that make it so like people are like, well, this one I think is better. It's like, get the physical and you remove all the variables, right? And that's, that's what happens. What are we laughing at, Steve?
I missed this.
What's that?
So, someone called Jennifer Briggs.
Oh,
hey, Jen, I didn't see that either.
Right. what made me then laugh is she's then put in, and I had to read it a couple of times.
Oh.
Hi, babe. Hi, Steve. Oh boy!
I see him every day. I don't need to say hi to him.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, hi, babe. Hi, Steve. Oh man,
just happen to see it.
Yeah,
oh man,
exactly. Hi, John. That explains a lot.
Yeah, so we know he's top of the tree.
Yeah, exactly. John.
Yeah,
we got a second mention, Steve. Oh yeah. Hi, babe. Hi, Steve.
By
the way.
You too.
Yeah, exactly.
The crew.
So what did you think of this, Eddie? Because I haven't even spoken to you off air about what you thought of this. Is it what I thought you might? Really enjoy it?
Yeah. I loved it. Loved it more than Sisu. It's way more grounded because it legitimately is based on a true story. I mean, the events it isn't what happened, but all those things happened. All those places were real, right? So they took an event and they made an entertaining story out of it that literally, I imagine that probably did have to happen in some way, not this way, but something like this happened. And then the idea of how this spawned, like James Bond, the whole that how they added that in there, and they should like right at the beginning of the movie, you get that name, and he's like, "This is such and such," and I was like, "That was pretty cool."
That took me by surprise too.
Yeah,
and of course, cool? I had to look at Lydia and say, "You know who that is, right?"
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of that's why Lydia was watching it. You got Superman and Jack Reacher going,
right?
Teaming up here. It's like, yeah. But yeah, it's just the home theater part of it too. Having got the 4K Atmos, dynamic across the board. The picture, the sound. I remember I don't remember the bass being like room shattering and like my remote lighting up or anything like that, but plenty of dynamics and the gun fire. I know Steve is a stickler for that. I thought the gunfire was great. Lots of punch, lots of detail. It was so much fun that, and like you said, for a movie like this about something that could potentially have been real, it's a World War II situation, but the comedy in it is also, lightening the whole thing, and their, what do you call it? They're like a laissez-faire attitude to all of this, and just walking through and doing, this is what we do, boys. All right, let's go. And it's just, I thought was so much fun. And then the way the movie wraps up too, it's, you get to do the whole roller coaster ride of the ups and downs of what they're going through, and then how they wrap this all up. And it just, it's definitely, it plays to be viewed multiple times.
Oh yeah.
And so definitely worth a 4K, getting the physical, getting the, 4K with Atmos. And like you guys are saying, if the digital sounds that good, imagine how dynamic it's going to sound when it's physical and you've removed all those variables. It's really, really good.
It's great. I mean, and don't forget that there's a couple of times in the movie, because we talked about House of the Dragon season 2. There's a couple of times in this where all the sound is taken away from the scene to build tension. There's a scene with the female character and the bad guy talking across the table, and he thinks he's caught her out on something. We think she has been caught out. It's not true, but we think she has. And listen to how that sound disappears. You've got all the noise because they're in a bar, and you can hear people talking. You can hear glasses sort of tinkling, and you can hear people talking away and in the distance, and all of that disappears, and it just suddenly closes in like that and becomes really sort of cloying and tense. And then when you realize she's on top of this, the sound moves back out again. And I love how Richie played with that. He does it twice, and it shows just how you can play with sound. You can move from a kind of convivial atmosphere, we're in a bar, to real fear and tension just by moving that dial. With the mixing boards we talked about last week. By moving that sound, it's really clever. And that's one of those things we don't often talk about with Atmos. Normally with Atmos, we're talking about its sound, it's big, it's there's explosions, as I say, there's gunfire, but this is sound being used to actually reduce the impact of something and increase tension because of it. So it's quite a cool little effect.
Yeah. And there was a lot of this takes place, excuse me, on a boat, which we're big fans of, with the Atmos and the creaking. And there, if I remember right, isn't there a scene where there's noise, sounds above. It's very, very quiet, very detailed, but there's creaking of the boat. There's things moving above, and they're like looking around, and they're looking up. I can't remember what it was. I know I made note of it when I was watching.
Towards the beginning, I think. Yeah, because they're on the sailboat, aren't they? And you've got the soldiers downstairs, and then they're upstairs talking to the German soldiers. Yeah, and that's how they get tipped off. So you get because of the noise that's being made. Yep. So again, it's clever use of surround.
Yeah. And all the way through the movie, they do a great job of that, using the back channels to move the camera. Like, you'll hear it back there first, and then the camera will pan around. And because they're doing that too, as they're walking through, it's like some of the battles that they have, it's like kind of stealthy, right? They're coming into a camp, or they're coming into someplace, and they're like, all right, they'll turn around and bang. And it's like other times, like you had mentioned when I hadn't seen it yet, they're just walking and casually just going bang and shooting somebody. And there's usually a sound over there first. So they're like, bang. And so very good usage. I wouldn't say where I actually have gravity up there right above it here on my kaleidoscopes that's sitting there, but it's not gravity level of detail like that, because there's so much more going on, but there is a lot of detail like that, especially in the quieter scenes, which it makes it that much more. Like I said, the story alone is fun to rewatch, but the home theater side of it is definitely rewatchable, because there's going to be a lot of fun details in there for you to see and hear the second time around that you probably missed because you were like, oh my God, he shot somebody over there. And then it's like, oh, I didn't even hear that guy hanging over there, or whatever it was. So
yeah. And if there was any doubt about it, this movie of all of them just cements Cavill as an absolute movie star for me as well. I mean, the camera loves him in this. He's magnetic in this film.
Yeah.
You know, the way he talks, the way he speaks, the way he kind of holds himself, just everything in this movie is kind of built around Cavill. I mean, it is an ensemble, as you would say, Deej.
An ensemble.
He is just so good in this. I mean, Richard's fantastic as well. Every time he's on screen, you know, he's just tearing up the screen, literally and figuratively. Oh. But this is Cavill's movie for me. I think he's amazing in this, and it is again, I think an audition for Bond, even more than The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was, which was again another Guy Ritchie movie, which was him in the suits as well, you know, and clean shaven and the tuxedos and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think that he's missed the chance now. The Broccolis missed their opportunity of casting him, but I would hope that they are kicking themselves and thinking we let a AAA movie star slip through our fingers there, who was right there.
But there's always another chance. I mean, I always go back to like Pierce Brosnan, and you're like, oh, they didn't get him, they can't get him, and then years later they get him, and you know, if it's meant to be, they'll get him.
I don't think
but he's getting on age-wise,
right?
That's the problem.
It's not that they couldn't get him, but they're wanting to cast younger. Because they want to get 3-4 movies out of somebody.
Yeah.
Although if Hugh Jackman will teach us anything,
to do it.
Well, if Hugh Jackman teaches us anything, it's that you could still stay in shape and.
But Bond doesn't have to be in Superman shape,
right?
Right. I mean, Daniel Craig was in good shape, but they don't have to be They just have to be athletic. They don't have to be Wolverine or Superman.
In this day and age. Don't you reckon? I mean, what's the defining image of Daniel Craig as Bond? Coming out of the sea in Casino Royale with his tighty whities on, ripped to the gills.
Light blue.
Tighty blueies.
but he's pretty ripped.
Yeah, but he's not huge. Days, he's just athletic.
They're going for this horrible phrase, isn't it? 4-quadrant appeal. And they want, and anyone coming in as Bond they're gonna have that version of it is gonna be done pretty quickly, because it's not just the guys going to see it, it's the taking their girlfriends. Again, it's the you know, the Alan Ritchson effect in this. It's I'm not just watching it for the story, you know, we're watching it for the physique as well. So Cavill, as I said, I don't think necessarily physically he's aged out of it, but it's literally his age. You know, they want someone in his late 20s, as you say, John, to get 3, 4, 5 movies out of. They want to build another brand around an actor, and it's a shame. He was right there, and he slipped through their fingers. I mean, I think he auditioned when Craig was auditioned, but at that point he was too young. Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know that I would have traded at that point. Craig was fantastic.
Yeah, he was.
Wasn't he the first blonde Bond too? Craig.
Well, there was a lot of controversy about that over here.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yeah. They didn't like that very much, but you know, he made it his own.
And wasn't he the youngest, or was Dalton? I thought he was the youngest too.
Brosnan was quite young when he did GoldenEye.
Was he really? I thought because he got delayed so much. I thought for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not a Bond expert, as much as I love the movies. But I think Cavill is, you know, unfortunately, I think he's just missed it, despite having 2 really good goes at it in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and in this.
What about this idea?
I always think what could have been.
What about the idea, like 10 after this next go around, whoever it is, they bring him in and reset it back to like even like the Sean Connery days. And he's a little older, and he's a you know, the understated Bond, and to reset it to like what you were saying, because like, you know, they could be an older ladies, man.
Do a period Bond, you know, go back to the 60s and do it that way, but that's expensive.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it costs a lot to do that, I'm sure. But there we go. Talking of which, Chris, whilst we're talking about other World War II movies, Lion Mage talks about a movie I think we've heard of. It says the best home theater World War II movie is on a boat sub called U-571. Never heard of until Brightside Home Theater. Yeah,
I got another one for you. Das Boot. Look that one up.
Yeah.
If you got another, you got an extra 15 hours.
I would still put Crimson Tide against both of those as well, just for sheer. Crimson Tide is fantastic. Yeah. Perhaps not so much for the sub stuff or the Hunt for Red October. which
Hunt for Red October for me.
But I think Crimson Tide, just for the sheer writing, the acting, kind of, you talk about an ensemble cast, a machismo kind of thing. That Crimson Tide is awesome. That film is fantastic.
I gotta go with I mean, obviously U571 is home theater wise, that depth charge scene, which I reviewed here. Back when I was by myself, I think. That's an incredible home theater movie. But and the story, much like Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, it's like based in reality, So, but Hunt for Red October. What's that?
Well, the problem with U571, and it does say it at the end, because there was when it came out, there was a huge, talking about controversy, there was a huge to-do here when U571 came out, because of course everyone in U571 essentially is American, and they liberate the Enigma machine in real life. It was the RAF, it was the Royal Navy, so the Brits that liberated the Enigma machine first. I mean, this film got raised in Parliament. I mean, an MP
really?
raised it and said, "This is outrageous. It's wrong," and all the rest of it.
It's a movie, people. It's not a documentary.
Oh yeah. But yeah, but
Henry Cavill wasn't alive back then. It couldn't have been him.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, but I do hope that somewhere in time, the chap that Magnus, whatever it is that Alan Ritchson's playing, I do hope that somewhere in time he did say guilty as charged. Because I love that.
Oh my God. Yeah. But again, getting back to that quick. Getting back to that quickly. It's that and one of the things you were talking about with the what's his name? Superman. My mind's going blank.
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. Yeah. It's that's why I think we miss him as Bond too. It's that sarcasm. A guy that like how he can act that same with Alan Ritchson. Like that sarcasm, that humor that they bring to the role, the lines, and to be like, when you're that big and that, but then that you're nice, you're big, you're funny, you're all of these things, and dangerous. The characters that they portray are you're just having fun going all the way through the movie. And it's like, for me, what it does is like these characters, they're making it through the movie for the most part. Right? You're not worried about like all of a sudden and like 10 minutes in, Henry Cavill gets killed. You're not worried about that. But at the same time, you're just hanging on every word, because is it going to be funny? Is it going to be this? The tension is different, and it's like, like when I saw Maverick, I was hanging on like, please don't have him die. Please don't have him die. Please don't have him die. Because I just didn't want to see, that character to be killed off. Spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen Top Gun Maverick yet. Shame on you. But at the end of the movie, you're like, oh my God, he didn't. It could be a sequel. They may never be a sequel. I might not be alive if they have the sequel based on their, pace. But it's just their delivery of those lines and the humor that they bring to it with that sarcasm it makes it so much more fun.
Well, and if you think about it, or if you stop to think about it, I mean, the stuff that's going on is immeasurably brutal. These are mass killers. And one character, without spoiling it, cuts out people's hearts and does it as a throwaway joke. And you're thinking, hang about. But the way it's done is just very, very funny. And
that's a guy you want as a friend, not an enemy.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. But isn't it interesting though that how that must have read on the page, and then the quality of the actor to be able to sell that as a humorous moment, because I think he does say, doesn't he? Well, I had to be sure. It's got his heart clean out. And you're thinking, so to deliver a line like that and make it funny is the quality, is the mark of a very good actor and giving a good performance for a good director. And by the way, Deej, I did look. This wasn't shot in Spain.
So, we wouldn't have talked about it this long if it had been.
It was all shot in Turkey.
Oh, jeez.
I did wonder.
Oh boy.
There we go.
All right, now let's see. What do we want to bring up next?
Spin the dial. Spin the
dial. John, do you have any preferences off of what you saw up there before?
Not really, because I can't see them now, so I don't remember.
All right, let's do. Let me do this one just to let everybody know. I'll do this one very, very quickly. Let's go. Yeah.
Well,
I'm in the universe, guys. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So I took that in this past week, and literally blown away. This is one of those like should have.
Yeah.
What did I wait this long for? You know, I've said that a few times in my life. Like, why did I wait this long to do this? Yeah. So this was, oh my God. And what did I say? John and I have been talking about it for years. He's been telling me to see it. And I'm like, I love animals. I don't like to see animals get hurt. I don't want to see this get hurt and everything. And you're like, it's not what you think. And it was.
The clue is in the title.
What's that? Yeah, exactly.
It's not the apes getting hurt.
Yeah, not ultimately.
Yeah. Well, a couple do here and there, but it's like, you know, just like anything else. But the movie, it's like, I can't wait for 2. I almost wanted to binge I was ready to, but we'll talk about another movie in a minute that I went to because I got inspired by Steve. And I was so glad I did because I'm really excited to get to that one. But this here, home theater wise, I thought was very, very good. Very good. This one is I have in 4K and a DTS Master Audio. The next 2 are Matt Reeves. I know the last one is actually in Atmos. The middle one is not, but they're all in 4K. I thought the 4K HDR on Rise of the Planet of the Apes was exceptional. The detail, it's when you have a movie like what's this, 2011 or 4? Was this 11?
Yeah, it was 11, 13, and then 15, I think, in terms of the release. I think so.
I think the second one's 14. I think this one's 11. Or maybe I'm wrong. I might be mixing that one up with another one. But anyways, the technology back then to do this, right? To all of these apes are digital. Everything. And to watch this we talked earlier about a shark's eye, and you can't fix that. Well, if they don't nail this digitally and get it right, it looked so good. Nothing took me out of the movie. I don't know. You guys have seen it, right? Have you seen the 4K, John?
Many times.
And you see,
yes, I have the discs and I've seen them all, but not recently. It has been a while.
But you would think that a movie from 2011, that's 13 years old. And it's like the technology, you think that if it, they didn't have 4K then. We didn't get 4K for another 4 years after this, or 3 years, whatever. But you'd think something would take you out. And I hate to say it, I was trying. I'm like, no, it all looks awesome. It all looks awesome. His eyes, Caesar's eye, the colors, the depth on, I think it was his mother's when they first show it. And they show like looking in somebody's eye. And John knows this, how many times we had to draw eyes when we were kids, and it was like how you show the depth of an eye, because an eye has depth. It's not just flat. It's like anyways, how it was like 3D, especially when they zoomed in, and it's just like, and then after that, every time I'd go like on my kaleidoscope, I'd see it, I'm like, damn, green eye. And it's just like, just from that one scene alone in the movie and I think like I said, I think it was his mother's. Yeah, great black levels, great detail, like the long shots of of the cityscapes and stuff like that, and then the jungle and the not jungle, I'd say woods.
The trees.
Woods. And his swinging through the trees, doing the whole thing, and the way the sound moves around the room, the way he's moving around the room, the way his name's being called out around the room. It just, aside from the story alone, I had so much fun with it. I was like, with everything I have going on, it's hard for me to get riveted to a movie. And wow, I was like, I just wanted to sit. Yeah, it was. I'm like, I couldn't wait to get to the next one, and I didn't yet, so I'm going to get to it. I can't wait to get to it. But.
This film is a really, really good movie. The next 2 are excellent movies. Yeah, you just kind of come in at the ground floor.
Well, that's
wait
why
till you get to the penthouse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the first one. I get it. First floor, Steve. Second floor, I got it.
Third floor.
Steve always coming in with the obvious.
Third floor, lingerie, women's shoes.
Started with the first one.
Don't get him excited, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is but this is such a good movie, and it's a really, really good. But the leap in digital effects, the leap in sound quality, picture quality, complexity of the story. I mean, you're. This is a.
I can't get more complex.
I'm really
not
excited
that bright.
for you.
It's like they reduced it down to an ape, then they made the ape damn smarter. Now I'm screwed.
Right.
What the hell?
They made a monkey out of you.
Yes, they did.
But this is great. And as I said, I really like the 4K disc of this as well. And when he's swinging through the trees in the Muir Woods, of course, there is sunrise, isn't there? Towards it, it's all bathed in sunlight. So the HDR really brings that out as well. And I do like the on the bridge sequence. I mean, again, spoiler.
Yeah.
It is 2011, 2014, and 2017. By the way,
there are apes. They battle.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, they do. Yes, they do. They're on a planet. The
planet is not hit by a moon, so it's a well-grounded movie.
There you go. That's it. We go from chimpanzee to chimpanzee. So you've got
Steve, you can take that sticky note down off the front of your screen right now. You've been saving that joke for like months. Hey. When is DJ gonna watch this goddamn movie? I gotta get this joke out.
Hey, that's a Simpsons reference anyway, Captain. Is that they do the they do the musical number, don't they, about the Planet of the Apes? And someone says, we've been here from chimpanzee to chimpanzee. This thing's very funny. But this one, there's a sequence on the bridge in the fog where you can hear the horses' hooves.
Yes.
And you can hear them echoing because you can't see them at that point. And of course, you don't know what's coming out of the fog. And it echoes beautifully as on the hooves on the concrete. So all that's very cool. And of course, you hear the apes in the overheads. I mean, it's only, again, as you say, 5.1, but the Neural X nicely places them in the overheads. So as they're moving above the characters in the fog, you can hear them too. Which is very cool. By the way, this would be quite a good one for your underfloor speakers, Deej, because of course some of them are going under the bridge. So that would be quite cool as well. But yeah, no, it's very good. But as I say, Deej, I'm excited for you because if you really like this, you are going to have your mind blown by the next two.
You guys love animals, right?
Yeah.
You have dogs and animals and stuff, and I've got 2 dogs, and my smaller dog Franklin has that. He's kind of got a face like Caesar, like a chimp, and it's like just the coloring and everything. And I come up from watching the movie and I look at Franklin and I'm like, I felt like he's going to talk to me. I was like, I'm looking at him. I looked at him differently. I was like, oh my God. And he's just like, I was like, how it messed with me in a good way. Right. It just was so much fun. But home theater wise, if you don't already own it and I'm the one telling you about it. Oh boy, hurry.
Well, and the other thing that is cool about it is that, of course, Fox released all 3 in a box set.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool as well. So if you do want the discs, you haven't got to pay $25 each. You know, they did a box set for like $39.99, something like that. So it is, and it might even be cheaper than that in certain places now because they're getting on a bit. But yeah, they are incredible experience.
One for the 3-pack. So.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
One little pet peeve I have, and with not the movie itself, not the movies. This is with Kaleidoscape. So hold on. It's like hold on to your hats here, because I'm gonna complain about Kaleidoscape for a second. So if you want to watch the next one, it's like, what was the name of it? Like you put in Planet of the Apes. They're not in sequential order. Because everything on your screen goes in alphabetical order, right? And the titles all have a different word at the beginning. So even like if you look here on the screen that I have up right now, look down at like Star Wars isn't in order because the names are in different orders, right? And it's like, what was the other one? There was another movie that I had up earlier that did it, but like the Planet of the Apes movies are all over the tile because it's Rise, Dawn, and War. Right. So you're like, you've got to know which one's which. And if you're first coming into this, you're like, well, which one's what? Like, I would have thought, honestly, I thought Dawn was the first one. And I had to actually look at the date on when they came out. I'm like, Dawn seems like before Rise. No, nope. It was.
There was talk about that when they came out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, but it would be a simple thing that they could do, like Kaleidoscape could do in the background of the title. Like, just because what you see there doesn't have to be in like the actual, like, whatever programming, and you just make it 1, Planet of the Apes 1, Planet of the Apes 2, or, 3, and then they would drop sequentially on your screen, which is what you want, so. But yeah, it's a small complaint that I have to search for it before I have, and I know everybody in the chat's going, yeah, I got to get up and put the disc in. Shut up, DJ.
Yeah, but you would think you could custom sort that somehow,
Well, yeah, presumably
you want to have
can
to do that. It's like,
well,
maybe you can. Somebody could tell me how to do it. I'll do it.
I guess I wouldn't want to do it when I had 200 movies on there, but if I was starting from scratch, I could do it, from the beginning.
Yeah. Or if you could rename them, maybe you could rename them like Planet of the Apes 1, 2, and 3, but then you still got the names up there and looked right. Because I can, like, you could see here on the screen, I customized.
Sort by release date would be the thing, right? And that would be automatic. But
then does that
your
do
whole
it to
thing
the,
would?
Exactly.
It would do it to every movie in your collection. So I don't know if you would want to do that, but
you can customize the posters, the poster art.
Yeah,
because you see, I have Revenge of the Jedi there.
Right.
So I have Revenge of the Jedi, and if I can't scroll from here, but if I went over, you'd see I have the original Star Wars poster too.
Yeah.
For the first Star Wars movie. So, it you can customize it. So maybe you can. And Nelson's the one that helps me with all of this. Maybe you can. Yeah, Plex, you can do it. I have Star Wars arranged in timeline order. Yeah. Oh, I know. It's like you can do it in Zapedi as well.
You kind of want to
put
it
them in a
the
folder and
MCU,
they go right in order. Huh?
You could kind of do that. You'd maybe want to do that with the MCU as well.
Absolutely.
Put them in chronological order. Kind of because Disney Plus will do that for you.
There is a setting on Kaleidoscape though that you can actually, instead of going in alphabetical, you can have it shuffle, or it'll actually organize to like movies around it. You can do that, but that gets even harder to search. Because if you leave that on and you're like, let me find this movie, and then just repopulate, like, how do I find it? Because they're always moving. Right. It's like, where's Waldo? And I'm looking for a movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that.
No. But it's interesting when you're like, I just watched this.
But looking
what else
even
do I want?
Well, I was going to say, I'm sorry, but even looking at No Time to Die up there, I mean, there's a million franchises where you would want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you would also want to group the Bond together and do it that way. So I can see where that should be a feature that there was a way to manipulate somehow.
If only there was some way of having a physical thing that you could put in any order that you wanted. Life would be so much easier.
Yeah,
I know, because in my box set, all 3 movies are in the right order.
Yeah.
So I just take them out and put them in.
On my Zapedi, I just go right to the Bond folder, and it like sorts them. It goes. Sorts them all out. Same with the MCU. Same with Star Wars. But you put them in those folders.
Yeah.
Now, this is a little bit, trust me, this is way more rock solid and better. This is a little.
Right.
I'm not giving this up for just so that I can go, there they all are. Yeah. But
is a problem though having, if you have Star Wars in timeline order and you download the Acolyte, is that like way down there? You got like 100 discs in between.
Yeah, good call. It's like, but is that, what number is that? Because episode 1 is now episode 1. So what's that? Episode negative 100?
Negative 100, yeah.
Yeah. Like, how do we do
Rogue
that?
One would be what? 3.5 or whatever it would be. So
Steve Atz has a dent in
I know, man. I guess I'm not going to buy one now.
Yeah, that was it. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, exactly.
I was going to pick one up this weekend, but
Yeah. That sound you can hear is the sound of everyone returning their Strato Vs.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
DJ
it's
said,
like throwing a pebble at an M1A1.
Right.
Abrams. It's like, now I got him. I never recovered from that one.
No, but I can't. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you make of the next 2 DJs. It's going to be amazing. You are in for some incredible times ahead.
Good to hear. All right. I think. What do you think, guys? You think we can finish up with this one?
We still got half an hour. We could do a couple yet, I think. Can we?
All right. All right. Let's Steve. Which one do
you go with that
want
one
to do next?
I can't.
Well, I want to finish up with that one.
Okay, we'll take your pick then. You can choose.
All right.
We can
I want to hear about this. What do you think, John?
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we got to go with this then. Here we go. I got to.
Because I haven't seen it in 20 years, but
yeah, but yeah, you don't need. I mean,
but it's
quotable, everything. Here we go. Oops.
I thought you'd sort of play your last post sounder over that, did you?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So this is Heartbreak Ridge, the 1986 Clint Eastwood movie, which is and always has been since the first time I've seen it. And I would have seen this film. Years old. Yeah, I would have seen this film, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 times. I don't know how many times. Yeah. And this is on Blu-ray. It's not available in 4K. Probably not going to get a 4K release, I wouldn't have thought. But it's I've had the Blu-ray for ages and not got round to watching it. And this film is a bona fide, certified classic. It is fantastic, this film. It was fantastic back then. It's been fantastic ever since, and it's fantastic now.
Yeah.
It's such a good film. But this, I think, is my first time watching the Blu-ray. And like I said, I've had it a long time. I think this is one of those, when it comes out, you just have to buy it. And then it goes to the collection and away you go. So I rewatched this week. I don't know why, just on a whim. I just suddenly thought, you know what, I'm going to see it again. Pop the disc in. As I say, Blu-ray, it's in DTS HD 5.1 master audio up next to Neural X. And I wasn't sure what I was expecting in terms of the home theater quality, the audio video quality. I didn't honestly care because I love the movie, so it could look like absolute dog crap. It wouldn't matter. Yeah. The movie's the movie. But I'm very pleased to report that this is well worth picking up on Blu-ray. It must be dirt cheap by now because it's been out forever. This is not a new release at all. It's the old, Warner's disc, Warner's, stuff. But it's really decent. Now, in terms of the video, it's showing its age. Of course, it was shot on film. It's in 86. I mean, 85 it would have been shot, wouldn't it? So shot on film, and the Blu-ray quality varies. There is some very nice detail on anything that's well lit. It looks really, really nice. When you get some of the darker scenes in the nightclubs and the bars and stuff, there's some crush, and it does really portray its age a bit, and the grain increases quite a lot then as well. But not that it really matters, because in the brightly lit stuff it looks great. The only problem is it does rather show up the makeup. Clint Eastwood's scars on his neck look like someone's just drawn them on, like it was a Sharpie. So they don't look real. I mean, they look, of their time, but that's a minor thing. Most of the time it looks really good, and occasionally it looks downright excellent, with some of the detail levels. And of course, even though this is 40 years ago, Eastwood still looked like his face had been sort of chiseled from rock. And all of those details are really clear on this Blu-ray. So it looks as good as I think you can reasonably expect it to. Now, in terms of the sound, I was not expecting anything from this. And had it been a mono track, I would have been quite happy with that. Excuse me. But bizarrely, this has got some surround sound in it.
Yeah.
Because there are a number of occasions, of course, by definition, anyone that's seen it knows, lots of this takes place on military bases. And on those bases, you've got helicopters flying around, and you've got tanks moving, and you've got guns firing, and it goes around the room, and the helicopters go right over top, and you get an action sequence at the end, spoiler alert, people, where there is a battle going on, and it feels like you're in a battle. It's not Saving Private Ryan. It's not, it's not Black Hawk Down or anything like that. It's not, 13 hours or whatever it is. It's none of those. But for a drama from 1986, it's pretty damn good. And for a dirt cheap disc, and I think, sorry, Steve, I think said in the chat, $11.46 on Amazon.
There's a 2-pack with Firefox for $13.99. So,
cha-ching,
I'm about to buy it because I don't have either one of those actually on Blu-ray.
Man. So, I would love to have Firefox on Blu-ray. Oh, that film's great.
I have it. I just watched that recently. Did I?
You talked about it, DJ, not that long ago.
Yeah,
you did. And I love that film. As cheesy as it is, it's a great film.
Cheesy. And okay, but let's stay on this one. But yeah.
but for that kind of cost, I mean, that's a steal.
For $7 a movie, basically.
Yeah, for two classic movies. But yeah, so this film is fantastic. I mean, and also, the other thing I didn't mention, it's dialogue heavy, but it's been written very, very cleverly.
Mm-hmm.
And bearing in mind, I know this film, or at least I thought I did, back to front. Interestingly, lots of dialogue I caught on this that I've never heard before. Think little aside, little lines that just kind of, I thought in the past, I think they've either not resonated or I've just not thought enough about them. But there are lines of dialogue in this that are now audible that were not audible before. And it's fun little things, little bits and pieces, little, Mario Van Peebles kind of throwaway lines. And obviously Eastwood is talking like this throughout the whole film. And so, of course, if you're not got decent speakers, you're not going to pick up on some of that or a decent transfer. But this brings that back to life. It's really, really good. So it's not a perfect disc, obviously. It's a near perfect movie. But it's a very, very good disc and well worth buying. If you can get it for $7, it's a steal. So, loved it. Really, really good. Is it on Kaleidoscope, Deej?
Yeah, I just grabbed it. It was $14, but I thought I had it. I haven't seen it in a couple of years, but I've seen the Blu-ray and everything you're saying is. That's why I'm like, how do I not already have this? Because I remember watching it on Blu-ray and thinking exactly what you're thinking and saying about. This is one of those movies that, we've said it about like Casablanca, Lawrence of Arabia. Psycho, all those movies, like nobody has ever seen this movie look like this or sound like this, right? And this is one of those movies that in 1986, theaters didn't have the capabilities of what we have in our homes. Never mind, our VHS tapes didn't have the capabilities of what we have today, right? So seeing it again and it is dialogue heavy and you're hanging on every word. And especially the way like Clint Eastwood talks, you're like, he pulls you to the screen, right? You're like, and it's like just and then the quips, the bar scenes and the stuff hanging up in the bar. You're looking around the bar now with I know it's not 4K, but it's even, I remember watching the Blu-ray disc and I've definitely watched it since I've had my projector, but I might not have watched this since I've had the Lumigen. So I might be, I'm kind of excited to see this. But the audio, like you said too, is, I didn't have these. I mean, John and I were making Frankenstein systems in the 80s and they couldn't pull out what this is, and I was thinking the battle scene, you're talking about the end battle scene. I was talking about, I liked the ambush.
Oh yeah.
I remember the ambush and the little beep, shut these damn things off, but they're going all around you. Right. And you're like, this is cool. Like I didn't get this when I was running mono and 10 speakers in my bedroom. It's like, this didn't sound this good. But
I do have a question. I have a question for both of you. Now, I appreciate, John, you haven't seen it for a while, but Deej, you've seen it more recently. Help me out with something, because there's something about it that I don't understand, and I still don't understand it with the magazines. Okay? Now, the magazines he's reading, and I'll be careful with the words I use, because I'm trying to understand, are they like female lifestyle magazines like Vogue, that kind of thing, like Cosmopolitan type?
Yes.
Or are they supposed to be adult magazines? I've never quite worked it out because Mario Van Peebles at one point is talking about, lifestyle stuff. And then he says, but she's got some angry, what? Yeah. And the suggestion is it's not, I never quite know. I don't know if you guys can help me with that.
Yeah.
I genuinely want to know.
What he's doing, he's trying to get her back. And he's trying to read up on what like he's trying to get in touch with his feminine side. So he's reading like Cosmopolitan or Vogue or like women's magazines, not adult magazines, but like, and that's why when Myron Van Peebles picks up, he's like, the hell? Because this is Clint. That's the joke. It's like Clint Eastwood's like hard as nails, doesn't speak. You can barely hear him. And it's like, he's got no feelings, right? And you're like, he's reading up to get in touch with his feminine side. And Mario Van Peebles like, what do I do with this information? Yeah. Because they're trying to figure the guy out, right? Yeah. And that's like, that's the T-shirts, that's everything. They're trying to figure this guy out. He is stone. I mean, his skin looks like stone. He acts like stone, and he's reading women's magazines.
Well, that's kind of what I had assumed. But when Peebles makes those comments, and he keeps saying someone must have left them there, and I thought that is embarrassment because it's adult stuff rather than women's magazines, and I'd never quite worked it out, and obviously they don't have those over here like that, so I couldn't, no frame of reference. But yeah, okay, good, right. Well, that's good to know.
I'll send you some of mine, Steve. I'm getting in touch with my feminine side.
Yeah, feel free.
John Thompson will like this because they actually reference it in Big Bang Theory too, and Sheldon's girlfriend breaks up with him, and he's like he started reading them or something. And he's like, "Do you know there's like a breakup story in every single issue of like Cosmopolitan or something?" Something like that, but how to handle a breakup in every issue.
And Light Maid says price on Amazon UK going up tomorrow, Steve.
There you go.
Right. Yeah, well, I've had mine for a while, so not for me.
Yeah. Yep. And John, did you buy yours yet?
No, it's in my cart though. I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up later.
Oh, you one of those where you gotta you put it in
the thing is, I've got like 8 things in my cart, so if I just
hit
buy now, it's going to cost me like $300. So jeez. I have to take some stuff out of there.
Oh yeah, save for later. Save for later.
Well, you know what? I don't have a job, so I'm not buying a lot of things right now. But I'm putting them aside for when I do.
John's cart's so full. He's like, I'm not even getting. Once I get a job, I'm not getting paid for 3 months.
Exactly.
Just pay me in Amazon vouchers.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it's but yeah, no, they have I mean, but it's an endlessly watchable film. This is like just this would be like a New Hope. Just you can just pop it on and just wallow in this film, and I love it. And my parents really liked it. It's one that we had when I say we had the video store in the 80s, and of course that was from probably 85 through to 89, and of course so this was 86. And if I remember rightly, in the UK, I think this went straight to video. I don't think this came out theatrically in the UK. So it was a big. I remember it being a big Warner's deal when it hit video in the UK, and we had posters in the store and all this stuff. And I remember, and so it was a family favorite. I mean, bear in mind, I was only 13, 14, but it was a family favorite. And this was one of the movies that we took to Spain when we moved out to Spain on the VHS, and we would watch it, so many times. And yet, it's quite tawdry stuff in them. There's quite a lot of homophobic stuff.
I was going to say we were only 16, but
yeah.
But I think we probably saw it together. We might have seen it together, DJ. Who knows?
I think we did. Now that I'm like, I think we did. And then
this doesn't mean you want to swap spit in the showers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
do you think this could be made today? I don't think it could be made today.
In that way.
A lot of Clint Eastwood stuff couldn't be made today.
Yeah, this would get you cancelled if you made this today, in the way that it's full of this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I don't even think in the Marine Corps they're allowed. If you join the Marines today,
you can't talk like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Not only
don't
do you
get
not
caught
use bayonets
like that. It's
you can't use bayonets, and you can't use this kind of language. I'm sure you can't get away with it in any sphere now. I'm sure. But still doesn't mean the film's not great. And we talk about movies of their time. This is very much of its time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's
great.
I mean, and it's also timeless too.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, just the overall message of it, like, don't go with the tech, go with the people, go with the person, there's so much to it in a more subtle way, but super entertaining and humorous because of like different than Henry Cavill's delivery. You got, Eastwood's delivery. You're just like, it's just so matter of fact. And you're just like, nope. It's like, okay. It's like, it's, man.
Rich is asking personal questions. He says, Steve, do you have any collector Mayfair magazines? If I did, Rich, I'm not telling you.
Yeah, exactly. Are you interested in them, Rich?
Yeah. Are we subscribing? What are you trying to say?
Yeah. This Rich also asked earlier, how do you DJ and Steve feel about propaganda movie called The Green Berets? I thought, John, you saw that. We saw that when we were kids. I remember that was like on channel 56 or something in the afternoons or something. It's
maybe, yeah.
It's I thought it was fun. I mean, you could call it a propaganda film. A lot of them are. It's like Top Gun's a propaganda film. It's like that's the whole idea. That's why they let them have the planes.
I don't remember that movie at all, honestly.
Yeah,
really?
I've never seen it. I've not seen it.
Oh wow, yeah. I probably watched it with my dad when I was a kid. I know I've seen it, but yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time.
I'm so unfamiliar with it. I thought it must be a French film.
No, Jesus. Jesus. Oh, the jokes, people. All right.
Go on, let's get to it. I know you're dying to.
I'm dying to. I want you to introduce it because I want to hear what you have to say before. I'm hoping it's actually all right. I'll tell you what.
I don't even know what that is.
So. You've seen it. You have seen it, John.
Yeah, you've seen
confident you've seen it. Yeah.
All right. Before I go, I'll show you. Can you see that? That's that.
Mm-hmm. I can see
it.
it.
You see that, John?
No,
that's
a kaleidoscope.
No, just put it up. Yeah.
All right. All right. Here we go. The listener's like, show us. All right. Here we go.
I might know from this. Yeah. Okay. This is Terminator Salvation on 4K disc and only on the 4K disc, only DTS HD 5.1. Unfortunately, as much as I wish there was an Atmos track on that disc, but never mind. And the reason I've randomly chose to watch this week is because, of course, Terminator Zero hits Netflix on Thursday, and the production design from the trailers to that reminded me of this. And I've always had something of a soft spot for this movie. I think perhaps more about the production design. I love how this movie looks.
I don't remember which one this is. Like I know I've seen
the McGee
it.
one with Christian Bale and Sam Worthington.
Bale, yep.
Yeah, the one
Clark?
with that was Genesis.
Genesis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've had Genesis, then we've had Dark Fate, which is the one with Linda Hamilton back in this, but this is Salvation with Sam Worthington and Christian Bale. Christian Bale is John Connor, who shouts a lot and don't move his lights.
Yes, right.
He really doesn't like it if you move his lights. You and me are done professionally.
Oh man,
what a tool! Anyway,
what a tool.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you have just slapped him if he'd said that to you? Anyway, maybe it's me. And we've talked about what you put up with on a film set from other actors.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just get stuffed. Anyway, so take that, John Connor. I don't need Skynet. I'll do it myself. Yeah, that's it. No fate but what we make.
Yeah.
All right. So you didn't see that coming, did you? Anyway. So Terminator Salvation. So I've always had a soft spot for this because I like the production design. I love how this movie looks. From the Moto Terminators to the kind of the hunter killers to the kind of the flesh rotting off the T-800s, and the Gatling guns, obviously. So, I've always loved how this looks, and so I've got a soft spot for the film, even though there is a massive, ginormous plot hole in this film that makes the whole thing utterly ludicrous. But nevertheless, I've always
time travel
the movie. Yeah, no. Well, how does he know
it's not
he's
real,
not
right, Steve?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, put it this way, without spoiling it, the Terminator, or one of the Terminators in this, is so much more advanced than even the T-1000. Because the T-1000, when he spoke to you, you'd know there was something wrong with him. But the Terminator in this, who is before all of these, is so advanced, even he doesn't know he's a Terminator, which is just ridiculous. And anyway, never mind. Long story. So, and I was
cover that plot hole, but go ahead.
Yeah, was there a Rita Hayworth poster over the top of it?
Yeah.
No. Anyway, so but as a movie, I've always rather liked it. And again, I wish that they had got to make more, because this was supposed to have been the start of a trilogy, and they say they had planned them out. And I think how this movie ends is in a really clever, interesting way that could have really made something with how it moved forward. Anyway, but so the movie is still enjoyable. I still like the film. And I don't hate it. I know a lot of people can't stand it, and I get that, but I like it. Now, I've had the 4K disc for a long time, and this is my second watching of it. And what I realized is when I watched it last time, I think I was bummed that they didn't have Atmos on it. So I think I was kind of still griping with that. But I must have watched it late at night, and I must have watched it with the sound down a bit. Even though I've got soundproofing in the cinema room, you can still hear it. I mean, it's not completely, tone deaf, as it were. So I must have watched it late at night, and I must have watched it with the sound down, because I remember thinking, that was an okay disc. Well, yesterday I watched it in the daytime, and I watched it at my reference level, it's a totally different experience. My gosh.
It is one of it. I gotta say, it's probably the most dynamic movie I've heard this year.
John's got his basket swelling even more.
This is insane. Steve, this felt like, and I've watched a bunch of stuff this week, a couple of them we're not going to get to. And this was like going from streaming to physical, and I didn't go from streaming. I went from this was the movie. I went from Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which was fantastic, to this, and I was like, what the hell just happened? My room came alive. I haven't heard a jump in sound, and I literally thought this since I upgraded my SVS speakers. Remember how excited I was, and how like Star Wars, the drums sounded drums in this, the gunfire in this, and the detail that I couldn't wait to tell people about is you can get bass, right? And you get boom, right? And you get the like, I don't care how low it goes. If you've got something like Todd has and you're going down to like 5 hertz and you get that nice big bass and it goes all the way to 100 hertz. This is like, you get everything from the bottom to like 20K in that explosion. So you're getting all the details all the way through that sound. And it is so obvious. And I love it that I didn't know you were going to say that, but you were like, when you drop it down below reference, when you go to, you're losing that stuff because that stuff's going to become inaudible now. Yeah. And there is so much detail to everything, to their voices, to the explosions, to the sounds around you. It's so like punctual, right? Just, it was awesome. The best disc I've heard this year, most dynamic. I think.
Well, in terms of a 5.1 mix as well, upmixed to Neural X.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of overhead stuff going on. I mean, the helicopter rotors right from the beginning. You've got you listen to the sound as he's rappelling down on the rope and the thing, and the echoing and all that stuff around, from the escape from the kind of the rebel kind of base where they escape across the minefield, and the gunfire, the tracer fire coming right round and over the top and all around, all that stuff. And then you get to the Skynet kind of headquarters at the end, and that you get that kind of that old school metallic kind of computer kind of noise, which then it just fills your room and the whole thing is going on. And the sequence, of course, where our character, who doesn't know he's a Terminator, realizes he's a Terminator and then enters the Skynet computer, and all of the movement, the whole film, it just feels 3D. It's like Evil Dead Rise. You know, it's kind of everything moving and all independently, and it was great. I honestly was blown away by this, and I watched it only because Terminator Zero's coming, and I just like the look of this. And I thought, well, I'll watch it again, and just could not believe what I was hearing compared to last time. I mean, I should have been raving about this disc when I saw it last time, but again, I must have watched it late at night. It's kind of that kind of movie. Because it's a different story at any kind of reference level. It rocks, and it sounds like it sounds like an Atmos track. It really does. I just
you know what I was likening it to the entire time, a Nolan film. It was just like the dynamics of a Nolan film that we rave about. Like, you don't need Atmos if it's done well, right? And that the entire time I was like, this is like a Nolan film. The bass, the detail, the extension of the bass in both directions, right? And it's it was like jaw dropping. I don't know how else to say it. It's like, I mean, it's a good movie too. I love the movie, and like you said, the way it's shot, it 4K with the HDR. They shot this high contrast, low saturation / vibrancy, right? So it's almost, the tones are muted, but then the explosions do pop. And so like a lot of it's at night, so you get lots of nice detail. But then when, like you said, you get into Skynet and he's got the computer screens around him and everything, and it's like they're moving scenes around him, and it's like 3D. It was like,
how many times in this film
something.
This red feature, I mean, the eyes, they make a feature of the eyes, and the red, of course, really leaps off the screen with the wider color gamut, and they make it that color repeats endlessly in this. I mean, the eyes are a regular feature, but
I'm wondering
how often red comes up.
I'm wondering if that's why McGee did this, like why he like muted the like dropped the saturation on everything, so those reds would pop, the explosions would pop, or even when you get into Skynet, and this such fine little details in the background of like almost like lasers, but it's just like maps, holographic maps, and those pop off the screen. Because now, they probably raise the saturation in those colors, but then the rest of the movie is like all the costumes, all the background, everything. It's all just, it's that, post-apocalyptic look that John loves so much. It's like, and you drop the saturation and make it just so like gloomy, right? It looks like an overcast day all the way through the movie. But then, like you said, those reds just, pop right out at you.
And also the detail levels on the close-ups as well. I mean, when you get which I think was the scene they were shooting when Christian Bale decided to have his meltdown, where he's giving his rousing speech to the rest of the resistance troops on the radio. Look at the little stubble, the little bits of stubble on his face, and the every little pop mark on his cheeks and on his forehead and all that stuff. Really, really pops. It looks so good. Very, very cool.
You just reminded me. Let me drop this in. Look at how we did that.
Old music.
Yeah, please hold.
Just whilst you're doing that, D, just whilst you're looking for that, this so Epicenter Home Theater says, DJ, you can change the metadata in the Kaleidoscape web UI so you can order your movies so prequels and sequels appear on your movie wall in order. It's pretty easy. And there you go.
There we go. And that's
it.
You ask and the chat delivers.
Right.
Thank you. Awesome. That's why I did it.
In that case,
honestly.
Quite like a Ferrari. No, nothing. Right, okay, I was just trying. I thought it was worth a go.
Oh yeah. There we go. But yeah, that's why I asked. Like that's awesome. Thanks, Epicenter Home Theater. Wow, your parents didn't like you.
Or they just really liked home theater.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have a brother named Omnicenter? Let's see. Yeah. So like back to the graphic. But yeah, no, thanks seriously for that. That's why I say that stuff. I'm sure. And it's great that somebody can answer that, and it shows Kaleidoscapes on the ball. It shows I'm an idiot. And that's why everybody's happy. So yeah. So check this out. Exactly what you were talking about.
There you go. Yeah. 100%. There it is.
And like, look at the detail. And this stinks. This is a picture I took. I tried to get as much detail as I could, but it's like that iconic scene of Bale and Worthington looking at each other, and the stubble on each other's face, or maybe the lack of stubble on one of their faces. And it just, it's such a real, it's seeing it play out, not a still like this is here on the YouTube. And if you're listening at home with no video, go to the video. But yeah, it's such a great scene, and I actually did my best to match the saturation on this picture too, because that light in the background does have a slight blue to it, but if you try to use your iPhone to take a picture, it actually creates more color. It pulls more color off the screen. And it's like, when you look at your screen on your phone, it doesn't match what you see there. So I bring saturation down, I bring it and got it as close as I could. But the light in this, the lighting, and like in their chins here, you can actually see in the on your actual screen, you can see detail in their chins and stuff, where here it looks like black. And I wasn't able to pull it out with the camera for YouTube, but it's like that through the whole movie. It's like in like really minefield, that minefield walk, and like just great stuff. It's I was blown away too. Honestly, yeah, I love Terminator movies, and I saw you had posted it. I probably watched it right after you, because I watched it like literally. I saw you post it, and I was like, "Ooh,
yeah." Well, it's just got me jonesing for Terminator Zero. I cannot wait for that. I'm really looking forward to it. And it said, Japanese anime, 8 episode Netflix, 4K, the works.
What is that? I haven't heard that.
Oh yeah. Terminator Zero. Yeah, it's an anime series. Yeah, 8 episode series. Yeah, it's out for Thursday. This is why I watched that, because I thought, I haven't seen the trailer. It's and it's in now. It's interesting because it's in Japanese, with subtitles, or they've got a kind of all-star cast for the English dub. So Timothy Oliphant's done done some of the stuff. So they've brought in a decent cast if you want to watch it in English. I'm torn as to which one I'm going to choose. I don't know. I'll have to see when it's on, because with anime it really should be seen in Japanese with subtitles. But if they brought in a decent cast, you kind of want to hear that as well. So yeah, I don't know, but the trailers look amazing. And it's by the way, it's R-rated too. It's anime, isn't it? So there are people getting their heads smashed in, and people getting their hearts ripped out, as should happen in all good Terminator films. And genuinely, it's a proper job, so it's well worth seeing, from what I understand. So it's out Thursday. Some people would have already seen it, because there was, John, you'll have seen, I'm sure, online, that there was an anime leak not that long ago, where Chainsaw Man season 2, Arcane, the season 2 of that, half of it was leaked online. And I think 6 or 7 of these of Terminator Zero were released online as well. So a lot of people would have seen them already. I have not. I've stayed away. I wanted to see them properly. And also don't really approve of that kind of thing, because that's a lot of IP that's gone missing. But word is good. Word is good. So I'm looking forward to that immensely. Hence why I watched this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's I didn't even hear that. So I'm glad I watched this show.
Yeah.
Found out Rings of Power season 2 is coming out. I found out Terminator Zero. It's like, I can't wait to tune in next week.
Yeah. Only Murders in the Building dropped today too.
Oh, for the love of God. There we go. Okay.
Talking of next week, Beach.
John, are you around next week? Definitely.
Well, it depends on if I get it. I don't know. I honestly, I don't
there
know.
will be a show, because originally, so Steve's on vacation. Steve won't be here next week. We've been talking about this for a couple months. Originally, I was going to be at Cedia, because I'm flying out next Wednesday to Cedia, so I will be around on Tuesday. I was originally going to be leaving either Monday or Tuesday. Now I'm leaving Wednesday. So I will, if John can make it, then it'll be John and I. If John can't make it, it'll be just me and the chat. We're going to have some fun, but I'm pretty sure John's going to make it. Actually, I hate to say it, my fingers are crossed John doesn't make it, because
I was going to say, I hope to not make it, honestly.
Well, let's call it John got a job and it doesn't interfere with the show.
Right.
Because eventually when you get a job, the show might move its time to accommodate you. I'm not going to stick it at Tuesdays at 5 just because that's where we've been. And John's like, well, I could make Wednesdays at a time. You're like, sorry, John.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It depends on what the job is.
Trust me, people will follow you.
Yeah.
We'll go where you go, John.
I might be able to dip into the show next week, potentially for the first bit. It's only because where I'm going to be is another hour ahead. So it's, just spoiler alert. I'm off to Spain again. And so that's an hour ahead. So I might be able to dip in.
Are you going to Turkey and telling people you're in Spain?
Well, that's the thing.
You're going to film it in Turkey and say you vacated in Spain. You holidayed in Spain. That's Turkey in the background. Screen. I'm telling you. Yeah.
Yeah. Gobble, gobble.
There you go.
It's not that turkey.
No.
So I might be able to dip in for a bit of it. And then the next week, though, I think that was planned to be a normal one. So that should be fine. By then I'll have it worked out. Hopefully that I can take a full part in that one. But I may, if not, just in the chat.
We'll figure it out.
I'll lurk.
Yep. Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. Yeah, because the next week I'll be back from Cedia, and that could be Cedia talk. So even if you just pop in and because I don't know what I'm going to be doing live from Cedia, if anything. Because I'm kind of all scatterbrained right now, but yeah, there will be a show, the regular show next week. The regular live show will go off without a hitch for the obviously foreseeable future until we figure out where John lands, and maybe we move it then. But other than that, everything should be fine. Nothing to see here. Please move along. So actually plenty to see here. Please come back. So all right. Everybody good? Steve's got to get to bed because Steve's got to keep bad guys from being put away. I don't know. How do we make that sound good?
Representing the rights of the accused against the state.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Wow, you said that a few times, huh?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Right on the tip of his tongue.
Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you, all the listeners, all the people buying TeePublic, all the people supporting us through Patreon. Thank you very much. Later this week, I'll be back for my final appearance on HT, guys. I've already read the show, having a good time. It's going to be a good one. Trust me, we got some controversial stuff, and I might go back to Mr. Radford, John. You're going to want to hear this one.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to reference Mr. Radford, who was an English teacher of ours in high school. So, and one of his inventions. So there's a teaser for you.
Nice.
But yeah, so thanks for all the support over there. I know we have a lot of crossover listeners, and Ara's been sending me the messages of people saying, we need to get DJ on more often over there. And I was like, no, we don't. No, we don't. We need brain.
Small doses.
Back. We need brain back. But yeah, exactly. Small doses in a month has been too long. No, I'm just kidding. I'm having a blast. He's having a blast. So, all right. Thanks everybody. Have a great week. You know what you got to do.
Go push play.
What he said.
That's right. Hey, Fred. This has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions. Well, that's an appropriate ending right there.
Yeah.
I'll be back this week.